Ayatunde Balogun joins us now with today's sports news.
Certainly, yes, it is time for sports. Well, it was all fun and excitement at the grand finale of the Victor Che International Wheelchair Basketball Tournament, which took place at the Sports Hall of the National Stadium in Lagos. The best of wheelchair basketball was on display as the competition, which was in its third edition, produced a new champion. Oyo State men's team thrashed their opponents from Edo State by 51 points to 12 in the final. The winning team were awarded with a prize money of 1.5 million naira, while the second and third place teams received 1 million and 500,000 naira respectively. Now in football, John Terry's stoppage time goal handed Chelsea a crucial 1-0 victory against Everton at Stamford Bridge to cement their lead at the top of the English Premier League. After 90 minutes of toil but little creativity from Jose Mourinho's side, it was the old combination of Terry and Frank Lampard that made the breakthrough, with just 2 minutes of stoppage time remaining when the former stared in the latter's free kick from close range. Now, Terry's heroics on his return from a hip injury were harsh on Everton, who had their share of possession and chances, but still left empty-handed. Chelsea's win moved them 1 point above second-placed Arsenal.
The Premier League, it really does. It's a fantastic ball in from Frank Lampard. Is there a hint of offside? No. And John Terry's just stuck his foot out. He's just taken a risk, slid in, and he's just got there before Tim Howard. Maybe the goalkeeper slightly flat-footed, could have been a little livelier and going towards the ball, but in fact it is off Howard, isn't it? It's not John Terry at all. It seems that John Terry's put him off and he's just deflected it into his own net. It looks like an OG. He's hardly brushing off the plaudits, is he, John Terry? I don't think he's overly concerned. The point is that touch...
We're still on the English Premier League. Olivier Giroud, the French international, marked his return to action with 2 goals as Arsenal romped to a 4-1 victory over Sunderland at the Emirates. Manchester City kept up the pressure on title rivals Chelsea and Arsenal as they beat Stoke 1-0 to stay third on the table. West Brom substitute Matej Vidra's late leveler denied relegation battlers Fulham a win in Felix Magath's first match as the boss of the Cottagers. Nikita Yelovich scored twice as Hull City cruised to a comprehensive 4-0 win over Cardiff City. And then from West Ham United earned their 4th consecutive victory after coming from behind to defeat Southampton. Markieff Morris scored 21 points and Channing Frye added 17 to help lift the Phoenix Suns to a 105-86 points win over the injury-depleted San Antonio Spurs. Markieff came off the bench to make 8 of his 10 shots from the field and also grabbed 5 rebounds and handed out 5 assists to help the Suns win their 3rd game in a row. A backup point guard, Ish Smith, then scored a career-high 15 points and provided a second quarter lift that saw Phoenix take a 47-35 point halftime lead. San Antonio then shot just 35% from the field as a team and made just 2 of their 21 three-point attempts as their 3-game winning streak came to an end. Now, the Spurs played without 2 of their regular starters as point guard Tony Parker missed his 4th game in a row with an injury, and Kawhi Leonard was sidelined with an injured hand.
He took it baseline. He's just red hot. He's now 8 for 16 from threes, and there is Ish Smith again. Man, it's feeling. Tim Duncan, 9 points, 4 rebounds in 18 minutes. He's 2 for 8, making 3 for 9.
Everything below the rim for Tim Duncan now.
Amir Khan has indicated that his potential fight with Floyd Mayweather will not go ahead. Now, Khan signed a contract in December that put him in line for a possible super fight with Mayweather this year, with the American asking fans to vote on the social media site and Twitter whether his next fight should be against the Bolton-born fighter or Marcos Maidana. However, in a series of tweets on Friday, Khan revealed that he would not be fighting the undefeated Mayweather, who he implied would be taking on Maidana, who lost on points to Khan in 2011. Well, Khan has been holding out for a lucrative clash with Mayweather since suffering a scare in his dramatic points victory over Julio Diaz in Sheffield last April. Well, that's it in sports news. The news at 10 continues shortly.
On the international scene, it seems protesters in Ukraine are finally going to have their way as the country's parliament has voted to oust President Viktor Yanukovych and hold early presidential elections on May the 25th. Well, the vote came barely an hour after Mr. Yanukovych said in a televised address that he would not resign. The opposition is in effective control of the capital, Kyiv, with Mr. Yanukovych now in the eastern city of Kharkiv near the Russian border.
Protesters seized the Kiev office of President Viktor Yanukovych on Saturday, and the opposition demanded a new election be held by May as the pro-Russian leader's grip on power rapidly erodes following bloodshed in the capital. Protesters entered the president's compound in the capital and are controlling the entrance. Security guards were present inside the building but did not try to expel the protesters. Self-defense groups from the Independence Square were also guarding the Ukrainian parliament, where deputies convened for emergency session. The guards cordoned off the roads, checking papers of people getting through. A security source said the president is still in Ukraine, but was unable to confirm whether he was in Kiev. Yanukovych, who enraged much of the population by turning away from the European Union to build closer ties with Russia 3 months ago, made sweeping concessions in a deal brokered by European diplomats on Friday, after days of violence that killed 77 people. But the deal, which called for early elections by the end of the year, is not enough to satisfy demonstrators who want him out immediately after bloodshed that saw his police snipers shooting from rooftops. Meanwhile, the Speaker of the Parliament, a Yanukovych loyalist, resigned. Nevertheless, the Parliament has quickly acted to implement the deal, voting to restore a constitution covering the president's powers and change the legal code, possibly allowing his ARC-4, jailed opposition leader Yulia Tymoshenko, to go free.
And finally tonight, ever heard of Damon Burrell? Well, maybe not, but he's a chef and owner of a restaurant in Elton, New York. But that's not the story. The story is that he's the sole employee, waiter, cook, and cashier of this restaurant, and customers have to wait 5 years to get a reservation. Even after 25 years, he still carries on.
Meet Damon Burrell. He runs this 9-table restaurant in Elton, a small rural town in the United States of America. In the culinary world, he is fast becoming a legend.
I'm chef grower Damon Burrell, and I said grower because I work completely alone here in my restaurant. And native harvest is what I'm going to take you through today, the process of native harvest, which is not only my cuisine, but my way of life.
This well-tended land is where he gets all the inspiration from. Burrell makes dinner out of the scrub bush next to his blacktop driveway.
And you can see everything that I serve comes from the 12-acre property. I have no suppliers at all, unless I choose to have some seafood. But native harvest is the process of creating the components to make these preparations. And sometimes it takes 1 to 2 years to create a flour or an oil or anything that I need to create these dishes.
Each meal here is a surprise and a delight. It takes about 5 hours to go through the experience and 5 years to make a reservation. But the meals don't come cheap. A multi-course menu cost ranges from $255 to $275 per person. Burrell calls his cuisine native harvest.
Clean up the plate, I made a big mess.
Come to think of it, he is the sole employee.
Now,
he has no staff.
A little piece
He does all the prepping, cooking, and serving for every meal.
This at all.
This is the attraction.
In this case, I took some of the hog necks from the Tamworth hog, brined them in a combination of pine.
He spends no money on marketing and doesn't even have a business manager to tie the endorsement deals. Yet, he gets thousands of meal requests. How does this happen?
I had guests that would come, they would tell other guests, they would want to come back, and you can imagine how it's just mushroomed, no pun intended, mushroomed, over the years. And they tell me there's really nothing like it anywhere in the world. Now,
To Burrell,
I take out
every customer is important.
And I reform it.
So if you find yourself in New York and you decide to dine at Damon Burrell's, be prepared to wait as long as 5 years to get a table.
And the eccentric legend, I wonder how much money he makes. And the main news again. President Jonathan has asked Nigerians to shun violence ahead of the 2015 general elections and has promised a flag of work on the second Niger Bridge next month. Well, that's the news at 10 today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Harriet Agbini. Good night.